Welcome back to Mountain West Women's Basketball Media Days. I'm Bridget Howard inside the Mountain West Network studio, joined alongside the one and only Jesse Kurtz. We now head to Las Vegas, Nevada, and the campus of UNLV to bring in the head coach of the Lady Rebels, head coach Lindy LaRocque. Coach, welcome. Glad you could join us today.
Thanks for having me. Good morning. We're still here in the morning and on Pacific time, but it's great to be with you today.
And this is just a reminder, if you have any questions for head coach Lindy LaRocque, please make sure to raise your virtual hand and press the button to enter the queue. Coach, what a season you had last year, your first at UNLV, returning back to your home state of Nevada. What was last year like for you?
Man, it obviously, it kind of felt like a blur. I know, I think the last maybe 16, 18 months for everyone felt like that. And we just happened to play a basketball season and had some great success. Having now some time to reflect on it, it was just such an amazing experience with a great group of young women, just to be able to come together and, play some hoops and stay healthy and stay positive. Obviously, we're really excited about the foundation that helped lay for this year. So we're thrilled with, how we did last year, but it's a new year. Every team is unique and presents, a new season. So we're already working for the future.
Your team picked third in the preseason poll, 3 first-place votes in that poll. What have you seen from your team so far that makes you think, yeah, we're going to be in contention once again for a Mountain West title?
Well, first off, that's where our expectation and standards are. So, to be recognized amongst our peers is an honor and it's a privilege. And, you're always grateful for that respect. But, that's also where we want to be, not just third, but, our goals are to be at the top of the conference. So the preseason stuff, while it's great, I think, you all know, media know, it really doesn't mean much and it's not a predictor of the future. So it's a great honor, but we've got a lot of work to do. And we're right in the middle of it. And the progress that we've seen from our young team and the improvement that we've already been able to get started is really exciting. And so we're just, we're keeping our head down and staying hard at work.
Let's go ahead and open things up to our participating media to ask some questions for Coach LaRocque. If you do have a question, go ahead and press the raise your hand button. We're going to start with Cheryl Cowherd of hoopfeed.com. Cheryl, the floor is yours.
Hi, Coach. Nice to see you, albeit virtually. And you had, a pretty good season despite, the crazy things that were going on in the world for everyone, making it difficult for teams. But you played Stanford early on. And although the margin was great, the team did have some bright moments in that third quarter. What from that experience helped your team sort of succeed for the rest of the season and also hosting Stanford for those few days? If you could maybe talk a little bit about that and bring in maybe some of those lessons into the new season. Sure.
Well, hi, Cheryl. Thank you for your continuous coverage. You do an amazing job. So I appreciate all that you do. Obviously, when we played Stanford last year, it was kind of a quick decision, how it all unfolded. Obviously, we were all dealing with different reschedules, game cancellations. So it happened really quickly for us. And, obviously with my connection to the team and Tara there, just being willing to kind of help them and give them a home was really our staff just being extremely gracious to try to help them out. After we played the game and once we got into conference season, especially once you get towards the end, I really do think that game really helped propel our team, especially, then following Stanford for the rest of the year and how much success they had. I mean, they finished the very best team in the country. And we went up against them and we fought really hard, so you talk about the lessons that we learned from that game. We carried that with us through the rest of the season of, look, like we're not going to play anyone tougher or, better or more skilled than what we've already played. And we did a lot of really positive things against them, rebounding, getting to the free throw line, that we definitely, kept in our tool bag to come back to. And it was like, well, if you can do it against them, you can do it against anyone. So I think that was a tremendous boost for our season last year. that maybe it took some time for us to really kind of reap those benefits later on, especially in some tighter, close games. So we're really grateful for that opportunity. And we want to, continue to use maybe even that experience with our returning players moving forward into this year.
Thanks so much.
And we'll now go to Sam Gordon from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Sam, you now have the floor.
Hey, Lindy, how you doing? Thank you for the time today. Wanted to ask you, after the season you had last year, what's the next step? What do you need to see? What kind of palpable improvements you feel like can help this team get to your goals and be at the top of the Mountain West?
Well, hey, Sam, good to hear you and see you kind of. I think, success is honestly easy one time. You can talk to a lot of successful people. Sometimes it's easier to do it once, but it's the consistency that is really where, leaders, winners are really made. It's not a fluke, and that's kind of what we have to prove this year of, we're not a one-hit wonder. We didn't just have, a good season because it was COVID and we had a new coach and no one knew about us. That those things, honestly kind of don't work in our favor. So this year, we have to prove that we are consistent. And that's where our work, our daily habits, our routines are proved. And, so for this year, our expectation is high, and we're excited and we've got a lot of work to do, but at the same time, we're confident in ourselves and where we're going to end up. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And so we're focused kind of on getting better each and every day. But from, how do we build on a great first year or a great year last year? It still doesn't really mean much this year. There's no comparison. We've got a whole new team. We've got a lot of new players, young players, and we've got a whole nother, set of goals and things that we've got to get done to have success again this year.
Thank you.
Coach, you've got 8 newcomers, including 5 freshmen on your squad this year. What challenges do you face in getting everyone up to speed and with your standards?
Well, I mean, you said it. We've got 8 new players, really 9 new players. We have a returner that sat out last year for COVID, and now she's back on the team. So 9 of our 13 have never had practices with me or run any of our offense or defense or anything. So in a lot of ways, we're, younger and more of a new team this year than even we were last year. So it presents different challenges. I will say that patience is not always one of my virtues, but I've been tested more probably here in the first couple of weeks than I probably should admit. But our energy is great. Our effort is great. And we are committed to our process of getting better each and every day. And so with so many new faces, new players, a lot of really talented young players that are excited and eager to play, we're just, committed to doing our daily work. And we know the results, the outcomes, all those things will take care of themselves in the end.
You mentioned the energy. You'd be hard pressed to find someone who plays with more energy than Desiree Young, the reigning freshman of the year in the league, all Mountain West preseason. What does she bring and how valuable will she be to your club this year?
Well, Desi's a proven pillar of our program here at this point. And, it's funny, we were talking this week even, she's already playing like a veteran. And I had to remind her last week, this was you last year that didn't know the plays, and people were getting frustrated at. So it's been a really fun, almost role reversal for her. And just to see her maturity and growth, I mean, a phenomenal freshman year. It just so proud of her and her improvement throughout the year and just being so coachable and positive. I mean, you can see her energy, her emotion, it fuels our team. And so obviously we're gonna, she's a pillar of our program and gonna be an anchor for us. So, she's got high expectations for herself, and so do we as a team. But we're excited about the pieces that we have around her, maybe to make her job a little bit easier. And so it's really exciting. But I think more than anyone, she knows that she's got even more to prove this year because she works so hard.
You mentioned the pieces to help her. You being a Vegas native, she being a Vegas native, you've also brought in another Vegas native, Vanessa Booker, a transfer from Ball State previously, though, at Nevada, where she was honorable mention All Mountain West. How valuable will she be to your program, having been around the league and having had success in the league?
Well, first and foremost, Essence is just an incredible young woman, just so selfless, one of the best teammates that I've ever had the chance to coach, just extremely coachable, just a really caring, thoughtful young person. We're really, really excited to have her as a Lady Rebel, obviously being from Las Vegas, bringing her home in front of her family, her friends. So we're really anxious. We're still actually going through the waiver process to make sure that she can play this year. So we're kind of keeping all our fingers and toes crossed on that regard. But she's a tremendous asset. Again, another player that has a lot of experience, obviously 2 years in the league, an older player, just with some experience when really we're still a very young, inexperienced team. So we can see that in practice. I mean, she got the highest compliment from her teammates this week, and she was voted a captain, for our team. So proud of kind of her already. And, she's just really scratching the surface of what she can, do for our program. So we're excited.
Yeah, we're excited she's back in the league. If you have a question for Coach LaRock, go ahead and enter the queue.
Coach, last question for you. 15 wins last year. You were ranked second in the nation for most wins by a first-year head coach. How does that create some momentum for you heading into year two?
Well, there's no good coaches without good players. I can't do any of this coaching without them. So a lot of the credit has to go to them and just their willingness to be so open-minded and have an open heart to learning new things and being coachable and trying crazy things that we're asking of them. And so, going into year two, as a collective group, we're just really excited. We feel like we've got a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. Personally, I think we have a lot to prove to ourselves, even more so than externally to anyone else, because again, we have a high expectation, a high standard for where we want to be and where we want to go. And it's going to take our full group investment and commitment in each other without worrying about kind of anything on the outside. So, year two, I'm excited. We're excited. It's going to be a great year. There's going to be ups and downs, but through all of it, thick and thin, we're going to have each other's back.
Well, Coach, we've got a couple more follow-up questions for you from the media. So I'll head to Sam Gordon from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Sam, you're up.
Lindy, last one from me. I know it's, the season hasn't started yet. You haven't played any games yet, but have you seen an identity start to emerge within your team? What do you want this group's identity to be throughout the course of the year?
One of our sayings, Sam, and you probably see it on Twitter a little bit, is tougher together. And toughness really has to be at the root of everything that we do. That starts rebounding defensively, just making it tough on our opponents, playing with a toughness internally ourselves. And offensively, we're really excited. We've got a lot of offensive talent out there. From an identity standpoint, we want to play fast. We want to play up tempo. I don't want it to be too wild and crazy, but, we want to score a lot of points. So we're excited about what we're doing offensively, but I think, more than anything, it comes down to our toughness, rebounding defensively and having each other's back.
Thank you again.
Yeah. Thanks, Sam.
All right. And now we'll go to Cheryl Cowherd from hoopfeed.com.
Hi, Coach. You spoke about Essence, but what about the other two transfers you have coming in and what you expect from them to help the team out?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for asking about them. Our other two, so we have 3 transfers in total. Essence, we mentioned Kayla Rooks from Washington. Also, again, just a grad transfer, a 5th-year college player. When I first talked to her, when she went into the transfer portal, obviously I have a lot of familiarity with her game, having coached against her so much. So I was really excited about what she could bring to our program. And then having her here on campus, she's just brought that immediately. She has such a high IQ of basketball, and then just some leadership. again, she was voted a captain by her teammates this week as well. So our captains are Kayla, Essence, and Jade, and just to get that respect from their teammates is I think huge. But Kayla, again, just someone that knows basketball with so many young players that we have. She's like another coach on the floor for me. So it's really, I love it. And I think, from a style of play standpoint, she can stretch the floor. She can play inside, outside. Her passing ability is uncanny for her size. And then another transfer, Nneka Obiazor, you guys are maybe more of the media people. You'll have to go and check this, but we might be one of the only teams in the country that has 2 freshmen of the years on our team. Nneka was a freshman of the year in the Horizon League, obviously. And then we have Desi, the freshman of the year in Mountain West last year. So Nneka, just a young lady from Minnesota, had a great, great first year at Youngstown State. Obviously enough to win that Freshman of the Year award for their conference. Just a really powerful player, can play in the post, can stretch the floor and shoot a face-up shot, shoot from the 3-point line. So with those 2 transfers and our 5 freshmen, our energy, our effort, again, I can't preach that enough of, those are the things that as a coach, you don't want to have to coach and we're not having to. So it's really refreshing to just be able to focus on the tactical things that we want to, achieve as a team. So our transfers, our freshmen, and obviously, the returners that we have coming, we've got a really good chemistry. We've done a lot of team bonding, and, they love being around each other. So I think we're going to really see that, unfold for us on the court too.
Thanks. Good luck in the season.
Thank you.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us today. And we are excited to see the team that you put out on the court for your 2nd season at UNLV. And thanks again for joining us.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Coach. We're going to allow Lindy LaRocque to step aside while we bring in Desiree Young, the sophomore, the super sophomore, also from Las Vegas, Nevada. And Coach talked about success being easy one time. I challenge that a little bit. It's not easy to play the type of basketball that they played last year, going 13-5. But I do certainly agree that it is tougher to stay at the top. And UNLV is going to be one of those challengers once again in the Mountain West, as they, again, predicted 3rd in the league by the coaches. Got 3 first-place votes, so certainly expect with the new faces, and then the cornerstone, as she mentioned, with Desiree Young, to continue to build and stay right up there near the top of the Mountain West.
Absolutely. We saw how good of a team they were last season and climbing their way up the rankings. And with the pieces that head coach Lindy LaRocque has brought in, you can see the excitement she has and just the experience that they're able to bring in. This is going to be an exciting year for the Lady Rebels.
No question about it. And one of those pieces to the puzzle that has so much excitement around this program is Desiree Young. Let's head back out to Las Vegas and bring in the reigning Freshman of the Year in the league. Desiree, appreciate you joining us. And tell you what, Coach spoke fairly highly of you. What's it been like now in your 2nd year? How different are things now versus last year at this time for you?
I would just say that our team is more younger. And like Coach Lindy said, we just got to keep being consistent every day and take what we learned last week and bring it into the next week. So I just think being consistent is something that we have to work on this year.
What does it mean to you to be from Las Vegas and be playing for this team, for a head coach that is a Las Vegan, and then you've got other pieces? I mean, a lot of the cornerstones of this year's team were all ladies who grew up in Las Vegas, now competing for the Lady Rebels. How special is that?
It's actually really special being from here. I remember my middle school coach, she was just telling me the other day how you always wanted to go to UNLV. So it's always been a dream of mine to play here. So I'm really happy that I'm here and being able to play my 2nd year.
We talked with Coach about the newcomers on the team. You've got 8 new incoming players, 5 of them being freshmen. How have you helped them get adjusted to the program and the style of play that you have at UNLV?
Just pushing them and, always encouraging them, like, you're going to mess up and we're going to run for you messing up, but don't get mad. Always be happy and stay positive, because at the end of the day, we're going to be better and we're going to be the best.
Desiree, I have to ask you, you play with so much energy and it is so much fun to watch you. How are you planning on continuing bringing that energy every time you step out on the court this season?
Just having that mindset and taking it game by day, like just being the best player in that game. I can't think about the future. I only can think about what's going on now.
What have you seen early in practices that give you a ton of optimism, whether it be style of play and whatnot, that would lead to some success for you guys once again?
I feel like everyone that is in just has their own different, unique style. You know, we have guards and we have post players, but we all bring something different to the table. So I feel like that's something that's really going to help us this year.
If you do have a question for Desiree Young, an all-conference performer and the reigning freshman of the year in the league, go ahead and raise your virtual hand in your Zoom queue.
Well, and Jesse just said it, Desiree, you were named Mountain West Freshman of the Year last season. How have you continued to elevate your game this offseason?
Just being in the gym more after practice, staying after, shooting free throws, getting in a few jump shots. You know, I can't come in as the same player. You know, I have to change up a few things because I know that there is a target on my back now.
With UNLV having the success that you did last year, and you mentioned the target, there are a lot of teams that are going to be knowing when the Lady Rebels come to town, knowing the type of basketball you play and knowing the type of success that you've had. How different is it this year with that target and one of those teams that is expected to have great success this year?
Well, they're expecting me to have great success, but I'm expecting us to have great success.
There you go.
So that's the difference between them knowing and me knowing what I have to bring to the table, and that's my teammates and my coaches.
Well, what does it mean to you to be honored on the All Mountain West team preseason?
I mean, I'm very grateful for it, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't have been able to do it without my teammates.
All right, last question for you, Desiree. Goat yoga is all the rage right now, and that was one of the off-season activities that your team participated in. Give us the deets. How was it?
It was actually fun. I actually thought a goat did eat my hair, so that, you know, but it was fun. Their hooves are very hard, and they did jump on our backs. That was kind of scary, but overall it was fun, and it really did help us relax, and we just had a great time.
Well, Desiree, thank you so much for joining us today. Good luck this season. And once again, congratulations on being named to the Mountain West preseason all-conference team.
Thank you.